Let's see if we actually get anything
If
pop
we
up.
are live, then why aren't we appearing in my subscriptions list? Why is that not happening?
Because Jack's organised it and it all comes up late.
Right.
Not
Weird.
not to have a go at Jack, just saying.
If you look in Let's Drone Out directly, you can see it and it's there live.
Yeah.
There's an upcoming live
But it
stream
doesn't
and a live
appear
now.
on the. That's weird because people had trouble finding it last week as well, which is the same
An
problem.
upcoming live
But it
stream
doesn't
and a live
appear
now.
on the.
Oh, we are live.
That's weird.
Well, there's only 4 people watching anyways because everyone's outside clapping.
Oh my god, I thought I had a water leak. I was like, what the hell is that?
You mean you didn't get involved, Tony? Come on, man.
No, I ran out there and recorded all my neighbours doing it and then held my breath while I was doing it and then ran back in.
Tony, it's amazing how crazy you have turned in such a short period of time.
Well, I've got the perfect bog roll for it. Selling this. Quid a
Yeah, no
show.
worries. Right, guys, do us a favour. I'm going to post the link in the private chat. And can you post it everywhere you can? Doesn't matter what. Facebook, Twitter.
We're on it, though, aren't we? It's working.
We are live on YouTube. There are people in the chat
just
saying hello.
Yeah, just anywhere you can. Put it on your Insta, your Facebook, whatever.
Where have you sent it? And why we talk about this before we started the show?
Well, because it's not working.
Well, it is. We're live.
Yeah, it says there's people watching on my one.
Yeah, I can see. Look, we can see you. Can you hear the words that are coming out of our mouths?
30 people watching.
Yeah.
Started
Yes, we can.
114 seconds ago, the stream. We are live.
So
We are
people,
live. Edge just told me we're live. So come on. Let's clap
for
the
people that are
NHS.
watching, did you see any subscription, or did you get a notification, or did you just happen to turn up here?
I think most people just
Yeah,
turn
question.
up.
Yeah, I didn't
No,
get it.
Dave does look intense.
Weird.
Mine, I didn't get it.
Ed, you can join the chat, and what I can do is I can duck out and in and out with you if you want.
Ed said it
I
came up on his YouTube notifiers. So
Oh,
It's
okay.
weird. They have changed everything over.
Hasn't worked on mine.
Why is TweetDeck so crap? Account.
I think it's just a bit late. Like you.
Continue.
We had to be late tonight. We should explain to our non-UK followers that at 8 p.m., which is when the show starts, we all went out to clap the National Health Service workers. So that's why we are late. And
Hi from Portugal. What's up?
Hey.
Thanks for watching.
absolutely.
So, do you want me to start the show? Have you guys messaged everything and
Messaged what, Jack?
the link to the show?
Oh, the link. to
Put
the
it on
show.
the socials when we did that. Start the show.
It's come up now in the feed. It just took a minute. That's all. And we've got 40 people watching. It's going up. So
Okay.
start the show.
Okay.
Is it 8:07 though? Because it's gone past 8:07 because there's a box there that says I got to open it at 8:07.
Yeah, weird. I've got one as well, but I've got things to open it. I've got Dettol, rubber gloves, full face mask, and goggles.
Do you think it's a dirty bomb or something?
Who knows? In this day and age,
I think
it's been out in the
Tony's.
sun for about 7 hours with Dettol all over it, so I'm hoping the outside's all right.
Are you going to keep spraying debt on it until it gets so soggy the contents just fall through the box, and that's your method of opening it?
Well, I'm going to open it like we're supposed to at 7 minutes past or whatever, but I'm literally putting all that on, so
2
I
minutes
won't be able to talk or hear anything. So we're either doing it together or apart. What's I don't know. I don't know who it's
I
from.
didn't get one.
We've all got
Perhaps
one.
I'm the only one that's going to survive this. Who knows?
Well, should Jack start the show and like introduce everyone, and then we'll open our boxes, whatever's in them.
So
those of you who have postmen that can be bothered to deliver them, yeah.
Okay. All right. Hello and welcome to another episode of Let's Draw Now. As usual, we've gone against the government's guidelines and all decided to meet up and talk like we do every week. You are joined by My Little Tony.
Bonjour.
NJ Tech.
Hello.
Andy RC.
How do?
Curry Kitten.
Hello.
My mate Dave.
Yo.
And maybe Ed Bruce Radcliffe if he clicks the link and joins the show. Curry, disclaimer, because we got a newbie. God knows what he'll come out with, and him, Andy.
I can't seem to find the disclaimer right now. Anything we say may be infected with coronavirus, so best ignore it, etc.
Well, you've already demonetized this video. Well done.
Yeah. We were banning that word.
And we count so much on that 11p.
Cents.
Donations is
Don't
what
forget Google
we
take
run
their
on.
cut first as well.
I want a donation to open this.
I've completely lost the disclaimer. I'm afraid all hell will break loose without a disclaimer.
Yeah, opinions are personal and not representative of the show. And
yeah, and watch
please
out.
don't sue us. We're all idiots. There's FPV in the chat. Mondo, Win, Richard Warwick, Ed Bruce. Yeah, Ben Scaro, Aries.
Right, are we opening this?
Fly.
Are we opening this?
Warwick,
You do yours first, Andy.
Disclaimer, hang on. Any views expressed by any guest on this show are personal and may not reflect the views of the host or any participant of the show. Thank you much.
Very much.
Okay.
Right, Andy, you go first.
Okay, I'm open. Can you see me now? Opening it.
Mine's taped up far worse than that. Yours.
No, you can't see it because my camera's. I can. Watch the address.
Parcels, which is essentially that Andrew/Frank sent mystery parcels to everybody, and some of them have arrived.
I've got mine, but I'm not touching it.
Why?
Because
You're supposed to open it live, Jack. If you're not doing it, I'm not doing it, and Andy can die on his own.
Okay.
It was always going to be like that, to be fair.
fine. If I die of coronavirus, blame Tony.
And
There's not much chat of drone stuff anyway, because
Andrew's got
they've
one.
been out and done anything.
Well, no, that's because we're all being sensible and staying inside.
I mean, I think we're allowed to fly, right? If you go out on your own.
You're allowed. Well, you technically have to have a spotter, but BMFA guidelines are that you can go out in no more than 2s, so that's perfect for FPV.
Yeah, I've been out flying. My mate's got a bit of land, so it's quite handy.
Nice.
Is that my address on the side?
Is that what people call their back garden these days?
Yeah, it's a pretty big back garden.
What the hell? Sorry. That's
What is it? Jack, you're supposed to be opening it so we can see it.
Okay, I'm ready to.
Poking it with a stick. Go on, Andy, what you got?
Well, do you want to put me on? Can someone put me on big screen so I can?
I think only Jack can, and he's poking his.
No, oh, hang on, I can't. I've got the wrong one there. Where are we? How do I get Andy up? Hang on.
Perhaps
must
my
be a way of doing this.
resolution is too low.
Win says put your wank sock on your hand, Jack, to open it. You won't catch anything from me to do that.
Oh, hang on, found it. Solo layout.
If anything, the virus.
Ciao, there you go, Andy. Take it
So
away.
I think what we've got here is maybe a survival package, or I don't know, right? But the first thing I'm looking at is a bunch of servo cables.
Wow.
So
Okay.
that's first one.
Essential in any survival situation, yep.
Next one is a Dean's to what are those blue connectors called?
Oh,
Is that EC3? Is that what it's called? Something?
Oh yeah. Oh, it says on
those for helicopters. A couple of my big helicopters use those. But
says on the side. EC3, yeah.
But they're not high
Okay.
ampage.
So, bunch of more servo connectors. Now, Jack won't understand what this is, but this is a nitro engine mount. Has it got? Oh, it's got a price on the side. Yeah. So this is how. So that sits on the bulkhead of a nitro plane, and then the nitro engine sits on the front of those. And there seems to be. Well, there's another one. There's another one because you have to have different sizes for different sized engines. Oh right, I think Andy wants me to build a nitro plane.
Who do we think it's from?
Well, it must be because he was the one who sent the message out. Is it? Well, these are wheels. Yeah. So, well, what you would put on like a nitro plane. More servo connectors. Did you, NJ? Is this similar to what you got?
Yes.
It's not opened these yet, is it? Oh, you opened yours, NJ.
Yeah. I can pretend I haven't if you want.
So I've got a bind plug.
That's useful.
And then just what on earth has happened here? Has some shop gone out of business and someone just left? So no, just endless. An actual servo. That's cool.
What's the brand?
Servos. Let's see.
Right, I'm going to start cutting mine open. I'm going to put gloves on.
Now Tony's found out like there's actually some goodies in there. This is a.
Where are they from though? Are they from China?
Park Zone SV80. Everything's from China, Tony. Get with the program. Another engine mount. Andy, how many nitro planes do you want me to build?
One very big one.
Oh wow!
Ducted fan.
Dude,
this is well cool. It's like Christmas. We're stuck in. What's mine going to be? Soldering how to solder kit. Probably.
This can't have been cheap. That's an EDF. For anybody messing around with these blimmin' cine whoops, that is a proper duct. That's how it's done. Lots of blades, just crazy high kV motor.
I'm gonna give it a spray with me old ghetto.
Let's have a look. What else we got here?
I should have put my
Chat,
mask on.
is the chat still working?
Don't even know what that is.
Chat's fine.
My chat has not moved in
There's
ages.
50 people watching. Right, I'm just going to randomly spray into here.
My chat's not working.
I can smell glow fuel on this, and there's a bunch of pipes.
Tony wants to be part of this as well, so I've put you back on regular screen. But carry on, Andy. I don't know if I can get you like 2 up somehow, but no, I don't know.
More wheels.
Wheels.
What?
I'm getting the same sort of thing.
Oh, this is hilarious. Do you know what I think's happened? I think somebody has gone to a swap meet or something and just bought a load of stuff, because what we've got here is lead weights. So when you had your big nitro aircraft, they're actually, I think
those are balancing weights, aren't they? For
you can use in planes. I think they're for car tires. I think they're car tires, and we repurposed them as lead weights at the front. I'm smelling a lot of nitro fuel in here.
I had an exhaust in mine.
Look at that! I got a motor on its own. What is it? I can't see.
Balance connector.
I've got a Emax 2204 2300 kV with dirt in it.
I have a feeling.
For you.
I have a feeling that somebody I know has had something to do with this.
I've got loads of wheels.
Yeah,
What have you got, NJ? Much the same thing?
Who just sneezed? Can that pass through the television?
I'm just going to check my text. I've not got a text off a certain individual, but if you were to wanted to get all of this stuff, I've got a friend.
I've got a phone start charger.
Yeah, motor mounts. Got motor mounts here.
There's a million motor mounts.
I've got a 6S something. I have no idea what they are.
Well, that's an aileron so that you can run like a wise
There's loads of stuff here. I've got a servo. That could come in handy. I'm gonna make my I'm gonna make my robot to collect the post, so he don't have to come near me.
So is this bear in mind I'm to drive? Is this just a parcel with no instructions and a bunch of stuff? Not like your mission is now to build X with all this stuff.
No, it's just like a bunch of stuff that you would find at a swap meet if you were to go to one.
Oh, got some nipple clamps.
Oh,
handy.
They're definitely going to come in handy. Another.
What's worrying is they've all got price tags on them, and some of them not cheap.
Oh, little 380 motor for the old frog.
So
I was trying to phone Frank and ask him.
He's doing more important jobs to even bother looking at us lot on here.
But he sent us these boxes though, full of like. NJ's got like a motor.
That's a pretty.
That's pretty nice, mate. Is it a brushless?
You looking?
It is brushless. It's got absolutely no markings on it, but it looks like it's obviously very torquey, probably high kV, direct drive for a plane, I think.
Could be plane or car engine. Oh, I haven't got a motor, but I have. I've got
poor Dave looks like he's the kid who got coal at Christmas.
What's in yours, Jack? Are you seriously not opening it?
Wow.
No, I opened it. I can hang on.
Got some solder.
Lots of
Can't super get ill.
What are they, Andy?
This comment.
Yep.
Let's have a look.
The glass is tainted.
They're nipple clamps, Tony.
Spraying it with Dettol, mate.
I've got a glow engine exhaust and all sorts.
Do you have a plane between you guys?
I think so.
Of air.
Oh man!
Either a couple of things have happened. Either a couple of things have happened. Somebody had all of this in their shed and has passed away, and someone's acquired it, or they've spent a serious amount of money at a swap meet, which.
This you'll like this. So this is a Dean's JST. So the two worst connectors ever made. There's one to the other.
That makes no sense because one's rated to 30 amps and the other's 60 amp ish.
It reminds me a bit when we went to the Hobby King show ages ago. Do you remember there was like the charity box?
Yeah, Ladders bought
for a tenner, and it was just full of all sorts of crap, and including bits and pieces like this. It's all reminds me of that.
But do you know what this is?
But get it close, MJ. We can't see.
Hang on, let's have a
little bird box.
Little house. Yeah.
Bird box. Yeah.
Is it a splitter for fuel?
Yeah. Well, what it's called is a header tank. So it goes. It's a tank that goes between your main fuel tank and the engine. That's what that is. Where you run them quite a lot on helicopters, but yeah, they're.
I was going to say I've not seen.
Is that for when you're upside down and stuff?
Yeah, and it gets exactly and it's a method also to get the air out of your fuel.
The aerator.
Never seen one on a plane, so it must be a heli thing.
Though. This is good. Again, I know what this is, but because I've disassembled many of them. But does anyone want to?
Crank, isn't it? Yeah.
some sort of helicopter bit.
Whoever said crank wins a point. Yes, probably from a sort of a 6, maybe a 30 actually. That's quite small. 30 to 50 somewhere.
Maybe we should just meet when all this virus thing's over and build something out of everything we've got together.
I think you should all look around your houses for spare bits of cardboard and crap, and suddenly somehow arrange all this on there and make something.
So good.
I'm interested to see what Andy's would look like, because at the moment you've got a single EDF engine. I imagine there being maybe a little bit of torque.
Make a hybrid.
That's a big server.
I've always wanted to do something with like EDF. Problem is the sound, but now I've joined this new club. Oh man, that is just fields and there's just fields for miles and miles around the horizon. I don't do long range, but if I wanted to, It'd be no problem now. Yeah. I flew at my new field. Yeah. I think they're car tire weight. It's for
that's exactly what they look like. They're balancing.
Yeah, I've got some in my cupboard actually for adding to nose weight for planes if I needed them.
That's what they were. Was their second function.
That's kind of little parallel loom there for charging what batteries.
That was for charging Hubsan batteries. That was.
Yeah, that's right.
Right to pick my nose now.
Micro Lozzie to JT, I think.
Servo wires. Yeah, this is. Yeah.
NJ, that's a fuel tank for a control line plane, Stephen says.
There you go. Tank. Look, Dave Story just come in chat. I couldn't find you all. I don't know what's happened. Some people got notifications, Dave, and some people didn't, I'm afraid. But
I got a notification about 4 minutes ago, so it's coming through really slowly.
Yeah, it might be because everyone's at home and stuff's taking its time to get through, I don't know.
So how many groups and pages on Facebook for model shops do we have to look through to find one that says all of my stuff was stolen overnight by
yeah, we're now all criminals, then we don't know it.
Well, my fingerprints aren't on anything of mine, so I'll be all right.
You were worried about having to disinfect anything. All I can smell in my room now is nitro fuel. That's like a really strong smell of nitro fuel.
The crankshaft had a strong nitro smell about it.
Yeah.
A fond memory for me.
Yeah.
Wynn said no notifications. Aries didn't get a notification. We refreshed the page and it worked. So I don't know. Maybe it's just
YouTube has messed around with stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think we'd just have to put the word out, or failing that.
Is that
I think most people our regulars know we're on a Thursday.
Is that a Corona you're drinking there, Curry? Just asking.
No,
so you're drinking a beer.
It's just a Coors Light, I'm afraid.
They are going cheap now, though. Them beers.
I feel sorry for that beer man.
That's ridiculous.
120 million they lost in the first week because people didn't buy it.
People are not that stupid.
That's Americans for you. No, it come from America. That's what I read. An American said it on my feed, so I was like, whatever.
And that's why Andy RC is happy, is high on nitro fuel. Well, yeah. And I used to like cleaning them as well, because you clean the nitro planes with the isopropyl. Is that how you say it? Isopropyl.
Yeah, I've bought myself some of that with some aloe vera gel and made some hand sanitizer.
Because you're going crazy, Tony.
Don't get it mixed up with the lube. I made that mistake once.
I was going to say, Tony, where's all the mask and the big gloves come from?
That's what he's into.
I was going to say they look repurposed to me.
They're my airsoft.
They come with a gag.
These I bought because I'm shitting my pants, and I think it's only going to get worse. So I'm going shopping with them on.
Well, I don't think they're going to help with the shit in the pants, Tone.
Well, probably not.
Stop the smell.
It's nappies you want for that, mate.
Yeah, I know. Do you like my t-shirt though?
Yeah, very nice.
You mean? Thanks, Gary, for setting that up.
You're not still not showing up in my subscription list.
Delivery.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we've got 52 watching, which is about what we usually get. So let's not worry about it and carry on with the show.
Wow.
Well, thank you, whoever sent that. I think it was Frank.
I'm pretty sure it was Frank, and I'm pretty sure I'm looking at my messages to see if. Yeah. No. Okay, I'm gonna ask you, Phil, if you're watching this live. Phil, did you have anything to do with this? Text me back. That's all I'm asking.
So, David, you went flying. What have you been flying?
Flew my toothpick for a try out some tiny little 40mm propellers on there. The size of that.
Nice. That's tiny, isn't it, that thing?
Yeah.
I think high KV that then.
Yeah. Do we need to intro Dave? Dave was with us when we visited. Was it Frank's spot?
Yeah, the Makerspace one in Milton Keynes.
Not the first time we met Dave, though.
No.
is it?
No.
That's pretty
I'm
like
trying to
Western or
think.
something. I don't know.
No.
Western 2017 for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of stuff that he's been in with LDO, and that was, my spot at Frank's bit in. Is it Luton? Is that where we went? Or
Yeah.
It was near Luton. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, and he's been a Patreon for a while. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no rush.
and
Yeah.
so you were there chasing the X class around and doing all that, and
No, I didn't get to chase it. I filmed it, though, didn't I? I had the video from the ground.
You had the video from the ground that had that awesome,
The TIE
dare I
fighter
say
sound.
it, drone sound
Oh.
to it.
Oh.
Yeah. But mini air show, I'm sure you've been to, and also
Yeah, I was with Gav doing the old whoops.
yeah, Gav with the whoops, and then at Makerspace most recently. I guess RIP to that place for a while, which is a shame. I wonder if something like that would keep going. Don't know.
I don't even think we're going to get our LDO get together, are we? If this carries on like this.
Well, nobody
Not with a lockdown.
Nobody knows. I mean, what are we to talk about? I think if Andy was here, he wouldn't want us to talk about it, would he? But
No.
It was declared today about self-employed people. And as a self-employed person myself, and we've got Tony and we've got NJ, and Curry Kitten, all self-employed. Shall we talk about what
self-unemployed? I call it.
What? I mean, did you watch the news about the measures they're bringing in?
I watched it and
see that on details. I saw it was like 80% of your
last
average
3
declared profits or something.
Yeah, they're calling it furlough or something.
Yeah,
weird acronym or name to it or something. If someone works on it.
Last tax return, isn't it? It'll be 80% your earnings. But that money is what they grant you is taxable. It's not tax free. So what you get, you then pay tax.
So you get taxed twice on it then.
So the government's giving us money and then just taking some of it back, basically.
Pretty much. Yeah.
It's nice of them.
So they're giving our money that we've already paid tax on and then giving it back and then taxing that again.
Yeah, the money's coming from the government though, so they're basically giving us money with two hands and then taking one back.
And then when
paid it to them and they tax me on it already.
Don't be under any disillusion that they won't be getting it all back one way or another.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so taxes are just going to go up once everything's over, and so there'll be that. The thing for me was like, it's not even going to be ready until June.
I know, same. I was like, what? Oh my god.
So what on earth are people going to do? What
Yes, Ed joined. Ed's just been in a Zoom conference on this exact topic, so he can give us some very clear insights with an accountant. I think that will help us out. So Ed, if you want to jump in and
one of us would have to jump out.
Yeah, it's all right. Ed can have my spot. Hang on, I will see in a bit. I'm here if you need me.
Don't go away, Jack.
There he is. Hey, Ed.
Can you hear me?
You're flying the blue ambient light flag with an Andrew.
He's so professional.
You're our new Andrew. You were going to respond.
I was going to say, it looks like it's in his house, doesn't it? With the door and everything.
I've
Where's
kidnapped Andrew, and it's me.
It really does look like his house.
Yeah,
getting back.
Yes, I've just spent the last hour on a conference call with my accountant and about sort of 30 other business owners talking about this exact issue. So there's two definitions of self-employed. First one is sole trader, and the good news for sole traders is you're going to get looked after really, really well. There's a tax calculation which caps out at 30k. Now the exact calculation, I don't have a good memory for facts and figures, but Tony, Paul's going to give me some information to pass on to you. So If there's any other sort of sole traders out there that want the exact tax calcs and how to get that, I can pass on my accountant's details. He's being an absolute gem at the moment and just helping anybody that's sort of reaching out for help. So yeah, sole traders are going to get looked after, which is great. The bad news is it's going to be delayed. You guys quite rightly said till June.
I thought the cap was 50k. They said.
Sorry, yeah, you're right. Yeah, apologies. Yeah, there's
not that it matters.
But there is.
I just watch the news very closely.
Yeah, no, you're good. But the cap is on profits and not turnover. So it's if you're in the business of spending a lot of money on equipment or subcontractors, that gets obviously that helps your profit. Your profit margin. It's not 50k of turnover. It's what you're left over with in profit after all your expenditure. So there's some good news on that front for sole traders. For limited companies, sole owner limited companies who are taking dividends as majority of payment have been absolutely hung out to dry. So this is category sadly that I fall into. So the advice I was given to save money on tax was to basically pay myself minimum wage and take the rest on dividends. So rather ironically, the Conservatives today have sort of been the fair tax drum, and they're looking at personal tax as opposed to corporation tax. So every limited company has to pay corporation tax, and it's your personal tax that the calculations are based on. So they're kind of, the irony is that there are a lot of big companies, big limited companies out there which are sort of avoiding corporation tax. So they're kind of hitting the wrong target, sadly. So what we can do is limit single owner limited companies is to furlough ourselves or any employees we've got. Someone mentioned that a minute ago. It's basically declaring that you're not operating, you're not working, but you're not closing the business either. You get 80% of the value of your salary that is on your payroll. So anyone who runs a limited will be on payroll. And for me, that is minimum wage. So I think we're due to sort of get back sort of between £600 or £700 a month. So it's something. It's not anywhere near sort of current earnings, but it's something at least anyway. So there's a little bit for single owner limited company operators, but there's a lot more help for sole traders out there. So NJ, are you limited or are you sole trader? I can't remember.
No, sole trader.
Okay, so you're really going to be really well looked after. As long as you can get yourself through till June, you'll be really good. Are you VAT registered as well?
Did I? No, I'm not VAT registered. The VAT threshold's like 80.
85. Yeah.
Oh,
well,
you can register for it anyway. You don't have to hit the threshold. But, it depends on your particular line. Whether a good idea. In some instances, it's useful to be VAT registered. That can benefit the business, but for me, it doesn't matter so much.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I heard on. I promise I wasn't listening to LBC when I was trying to tea this afternoon. But I heard something about the Chancellor saying there would be a way to get an advance on what's owed in June.
So you can fall back on interruption loans. So there's been there's some good news and bad news with that. So in the press, quite rightly, they pulled up that a lot of the major banks have been putting some horrendous conditions on interruption loans, including guarantee of your house and various other things, which is not good. However, that goes against the guidelines that were set out by the government in the first place. So the government have been sitting on the banking sector in the background, and now the banks are starting to fall into line. So I know from what Paul was saying on the call, sorry, Paul's my accountant, what Paul was saying on the call, that Barclays were the first to sort of fall back into line with exact government recommendations. So it's now, it's between 6 or 12 months. I don't know if someone can remember the exact figure. I can't remember, but it'll be interest-free, and in some cases it'll be payment deferred as well. And that's just to get you through it. So it's a combination of using an interruption loan and then getting receipt when you get the grant back.
Pay it, and you shouldn't be paying any interest to that point. So you should just pay it straight off with what you receive.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
You know, I just think the June thing though is like a bit of a ruse, because Potentially, we could it sorting itself out by June.
Well, the reason for the delay is because there's a 4-week window now to do your self-assessment return to apply for the grant. So it's reliant on business owners to declare to HMRC how much they've earned, and I can't remember what the dates are. You'll have to look online. But for example, if it's based on, say, the last year's trading, you've now got four weeks to get all those figures together and get a submission into HMRC. So HMRC have got a job of effectively building a new department to deal with just these submissions for the grants. There's a lot of sole traders in the UK. It's extra overheads on workload. We all know that the businesses, whether you're government side or private business, is under conditions of working from home. I think HMRC probably are going to be on a dispensation, but they will for sure have a reduced staff count as well. So it's very easy to administer a payroll system that's already established, because sole traders aren't on payroll; they're on a declaratory basis, so it's a return. So when you've got companies that have payroll and all those accounts have already been submitted to HMRC, the hard work has already been done. For sole traders, you've got to tell HMRC, and HMRC have got to collect all that data and then approve or decline.
No, because the news made it out to be we'll contact you if you're eligible.
The mechanics of how you go about it are yet to be published. So like any government initiative, there's a sort of a delay between an announcement and then the mechanics of how you do it. So even the details on the fine detail that the accountants have to go through or payroll companies have to go to for furlough is, I think there's still some questions over there being answered. But yeah, everyone's scurrying to do it. So there's no sort of conspiracy or sort of bad feeling towards the June deadline. It's literally just a case of we've got to ask the nation to submit their information and then process it because it's new information that hasn't been taken into account yet.
Oh, okay. So it's based on this coming tax return, which happens when 1st of April is when it does the new tax year, isn't it, for doing the tax return?
No. I can only speak from a sole trader point of view.
Yeah, exactly.
So the tax year, as you say, Curry, runs from, is it the 4th of April to I think it's the 4th of April to the next 4th of April, but it's obviously the previous year. But it's
the previous one.
But yeah. Well, you're always a year behind with your tax return. So the deadline online. This is what I was a little bit confused about when they were talking about we're deferring all of your self-assessments till January next year, and I'm like, well, if you do it online, that's when you do it anyways. You got till January to do it.
What I mean is it's based upon the tax return you may have already done, which I have, that would have started last April and goes up to whenever.
Which you should have submitted by, if you'd done it online. If you hadn't done it online, it was October last year. Is it October? End of October last year. Or if you do it online, then it's I think it's the 31st of Jan. Yeah. So I think what they were talking about is when there are people who still haven't filled in their tax return from last year, and I think so when they say they're delaying that until 2020, do they mean the people?
I think the stuff that's getting deferred to 2020 is when you get into a certain bracket, you have to pay a midterm payment.
So everybody has to pay that.
Yeah,
it's
everyone doing that.
Payments on account, that's called.
I thought the payment on account is what's being moved because that's usually at
the
end.
That is being moved.
That's going over to 2021.
So you've always been able to defer that, but you have interest added on it if you defer it. So I think they're taking that off.
They're basically saying just sideswipe it until 2021.
Yeah.
So it's just swinging back to claiming your grant that you may or may not be eligible for, and it does all depend on whether you are entitled to furlough yourself. So is your work dependent on interacting with large groups of people? Like Neil, for example, has to furlough himself because he can physically not work. So there's a qualifier there. Forgive me about the exact details on dates and times. I'm a dyslexic idiot, so when I see something and I don't retain it, I'm a bit lazy. I have my accountant and I just go sort it out for me. But what I do remember seeing is he had a spreadsheet and he had sort of 3 years worth of calcs, and he was going across 3 years to work out percentage, which you then use to apply. The exact details of that, I'll see if I can. I can drop Paul an email and ask him to. I think he's going to be doing a blog post on sole traders, which will go out. So I'm happy to post that blog post onto the LDO Facebook chat when that comes through, so people can read it. Maybe that would be a good idea, because I wouldn't rely solely on the information you see here. Just referring back to Curry Kitten's disclaimer, there's a very important reason for them. I could have misremembered something exactly, but the sentiment was that sole traders, as long as they qualify for furlough, are going to be pretty well looked after, up to a tune of 80%, depending on where your cap is.
Can I just say, I don't have to furlough myself anymore because I've got a girlfriend. Boom, boom.
Why don't you have to furlough yourself if you've got a girlfriend, Tony?
Is that attempting a euphemism?
Is that what those big?
I'm trying to bring some humour to the chat.
Is that what those big gloves are for, Tone? In this,
nipple clamps now.
Nipple clamps, big thick gloves, and a gimp mask.
Oh, I'm just trying to bring some fun to the chat.
While we have you here, dare I ask, have you managed to fly anything at all?
Only my Tiny Hawk 2, which I'm absolutely in love with. I haven't flown until I bought that thing a month or two back. I haven't flown any quads for over a year, and the Tiny Hawk's just reignited. Oh, in my garden. It's I don't have to interact with anyone. It's great. I've not left the house in 2 weeks.
But you've when you say you hadn't flown your quads in over a year, it's because you've been flying helis as well, right?
Yes,
yeah. And I haven't flown them for a few months either. So not since before Christmas.
Is it because they're in bits?
Well, one of them's in bits.
It's also partly the season, isn't it? It's the heli pilot.
Yeah.
I think I'm a fair weather flyer, to be truthfully told with you, NJ.
I am now. I mean, 5 years ago, you'd have caught me out there all winter flying for the first few years of me getting into FPV because we all loved it. But now
I've been quite happy flying from the car, like with not helicopters, but with FPV. And especially if you want to get nice kind of snowscape when it does snow. Obviously, we've had none this year, but not really, a tiny bit.
But at the risk of talking about drones, one of the nice side effects of I did my ACERT last year for the heli, and it gave me automatic qualification for the what was the registration that everyone was panicking about?
I don't think that's on the table anymore for some reason. I think there might be.
Got to worry about that.
There might be some bigger issues for the government to sort out.
Yeah, I think we can officially go back.
We're sat here having spent our £9. We want it back. So you don't have to pay.
That's it.
See, what is they say? They say every cloud has a silver lining, right? That's our silver lining. We can now go back to doing what the hell we want.
It's not.
No one cares.
As long as you're on your own, I don't think you're going to get approached by anyone for anything, right?
Everywhere's deserted, so everything's a bando.
Please get yellow jackets with coronavirus infected written on the back of it.
No, you get fined then because they're talking about these fine things, aren't they?
Really?
Yeah. So the rule.
People saying that they've seen police about now, and people.
This is in big cities, though. I think when you move out to the, where the fields are and things, that's going to be very difficult to, control. I think.
Could you imagine any person, dog walker, whatever, that wants to ring up the police and say, "I'd like to make a complaint about someone flying it," and then, I mean, how fast would the phone hang up right now?
Don't waste my time.
My first question to them would be, why are you outside? Yeah.
Do you ever get any grief at your review spot, Andy? Because it looks like it's pretty close to houses. Has there ever been any trouble for you?
Well, I'm very lucky in that we are like a tight knit community. So every one of those like people in the streets and the houses come up to me. And funnily enough, I did a plane review the other day, and I got because it was quite windy. The plane got like a little bit not dangerously close to the house, but when you look at the regulations and everything, you would say that it was so I cut it out. But because the audience doesn't know that lady, when I first started doing this, she came up to me and she like thanked me, and she said, "Oh man, it's like we've got our own air show out of our front room. They absolutely love it." And so everybody in those streets, they've all got quads themselves. You know, I've been quite generous and given stuff away and sort of said, "Look, I'm here if you want to give it a try." And we're a nice community.
You're going to host your own Western.
Just ply the neighbours with
the only issue I've ever had is with people walking who aren't part of our community, but you only ever see them once. And usually when I'm
for local people, you're not welcome here.
We had a great moment where I got I got a bunch of the local kids who they quite often, you don't see it in the vids, because I have to go and reshoot them and stuff, but they'll all sit on the bank and watch me fly. And this lady who we knew wasn't a local was just walking, and she was effing and jeffing and all this, and just one of the kids just said, "Those are naughty words. You shouldn't say that." And I didn't have to say anything. I was like, and then I've never seen them again. So it's a really nice community. I'm really lucky, and we all look after each other. So the answer is no. However, I am restricted by that field for its size. So I've joined a club, like I referred to earlier, where there is just acres and acres of nothing. So
nice.
I'll hopefully be doing some content from there. The question is, can you drive? Are you allowed to drive?
Yes.
I mean, you're allowed to exercise once a day, right? So the quad flying could be, I mean, people are exercising, they're doing like bike rides or whatever. I've got a big backpack on my back. I'm walking, into like acres and acres of fields to get to,
Well, Andy, don't you go for a walk every day between the hours of 2 and 4? Don't you? That's what you've done for years for your exercise? I'm pretty sure.
No, I try and stay in a coma for as long as possible.
I'm trying to give you an out.
No, well, this is what I wished Andy was here, because although I'm not sure. Sorry.
No, I'll tell you what. So there's a message in the chat here just saying that Frank's on the sidelines. So I'll duck out, and I'll just say that as soon as I get that blog post through, I'll put it on the LDO chat for anyone. Apologies if I've misremembered any nuance, but good chat to everyone, and I'll duck out so Frank can join in.
Thank you, Ed.
No worries.
Appreciate you popping on, Ed. Thanks,
Cheers,
mate.
Ed.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Nice headphones.
Click the bell, people.
Hello.
Oh, right.
Frank here. Yep,
Frank,
no worries.
Frank's here. Oh.
Frank.
And as if by magic, Frank's in the same room that Ed was.
Yeah.
About
The same room.
Imaginary roommate that he never talks about.
Yeah, exactly. Frank, what is the deal behind this box?
Was it you, Frank?
We've got 5 minutes. Explain this mad box of things. That
Have you looked at them yet?
Yeah.
What's in it?
unbox them.
Lots of goodies.
All kinds of weirdness. A crankshaft.
Tell you what's in it, Frank. The contents of an entire swap meet is in it. Explain yourself.
Yeah, well, someone was looking to liquidate their stock, and they were offering some mystery boxes, and I thought that might be entertaining. So
it was.
I literally don't know what's in those boxes. Whatever you got.
Well, you have to watch back.
Yeah.
Wheels, servo leads, bits of nitro
Motors.
stuff.
I've got nipple clips.
Motor. I think you can challenge everybody to make something out of them, which will move away.
What
I've got a EDF.
Really?
In mind.
Wow.
Yeah. I know.
No box at all. Still not showing up. Boo.
Oh.
It'll get there, I'm sure.
Imagine if Curry's has got the DJI system in it as well.
And I think that's less likely.
Lots of engine mounts, Andy, I have to say.
Yeah, I've got at least 3 of them.
I've got like 5 engine mounts.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, nitro engine mounts have got less popular lately. Hence, they were.
Turns out there's quite some stock of that.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that's common about all of these boxes is that they all smell of nitro fuel.
Well,
yeah.
It doubles up as disinfectant, so it's fine.
Well, there you go, Tony. See, here's Tony leaving his outside. He's spraying it with
Nitro will literally eat your skin. They're like, my favourite bit was just how much mud there is on this. that was amazing. I think my 2 favourite things are that, and I'm probably not going to be able to find it now. Well, it's the nitro crankshaft. Yeah, car lead weights, car wheel balancing. Lead.
Everybody's got some of those. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. Oh, there it is. Yeah, the fresh out of some sort of 30 to 40 sized engine crankshaft. I don't know why that would be sold as an individual thing. Like, I mean, there's a number of engines that
could fit.
Well, I
probably won't.
Challenge of make something using as many of the bits possible that were in your box.
What, by next week?
By next week, and you can demonstrate it.
Oh, God. Okay.
Porky brushless there.
I'm up for it.
It's just to see what Tony tries to do with soldering iron or gaffer tape or whatever you can wise to go.
Glue.
Does it have to be functional, or is it just art?
But mine's going to be definitely art.
That's so unusual.
Well, I tell you what, Andy, there's a lot of stuff in my box that I'm going to be using. So thank you very much. It was much appreciated.
How you can tell how old this motor is, right? It's got, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get my camera to see this or not, but
has it got if it
I don't know if you can see, maybe
has it got a flat edge on it?
There's actually, I don't know if you can see. We might have to back up a bit.
Yeah, it's not a car
Can
one.
you see one of the magnets there?
Yeah.
You can see the stators, but can you see?
They're spaced out.
Yeah, the gap. Yeah.
There's the gap between that magnet and the next one. There's 6 magnets around the whole thing. There's 6. There's like virtual. Look, there you go. Look at the space.
Click.
Well, you could put a whole extra magnets in there.
Yeah. There's there could be 12 to 14, but yeah, there's 6 there. It's just these massive notches.
Right. Well, while we've got Andy here, because what we were talking about before you came on, Andy, is so I can't remember your status with the BMFA, but after Boris made his you can only go out once a day for exercise thing, I got an email from the BMFA that said that you can still fly as long as there is no more than 2 of you, which for FPV is kind of okay because that's you and your spotter. Then we've got Mundo FPV here, who is local to me, says that you can't drive to exercise. So I think the question is, like, if you wanted to, can you go and drive to a field and fly somewhere? Is that it? Is that against the?
Probably jog there.
Don't know.
I think
honest.
it'd be viewed as unnecessary travel, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Mm.
I think so. Because the point isn't just to avoid spreading it, but it's also to avoid the risk of traveling. And I think probably also flying things has some risk as well. Like, you just don't trust me. Like, as someone who has spent far too many hours speaking to people on the front line this week, you do not want to be going into hospital anytime soon. Like,
Oh no,
do
absolutely.
not
So,
take any
like
risk.
falling off
Like,
your mountain bike or something like that, breaking your
Yeah,
leg, you don't want to be going there.
Just don't. Just, yeah, tall ladders, maybe not the time to do that.
Great.
Driving around country lanes, maybe not the time.
Damn.
The problem
Give it-
is, Andy, the reason I say this is because we run a weekly show called Let's Drone Out, and if nobody can fly, what is the show? Is it
What
going to
are we
have to
talk
be
about?
renamed to Let's?
There's simulators. I hear Curry has a very good one.
What? Oh, simulators. You
There's-
can't all just do simulators, though.
there's loops.
I've been flying. My daily exercise. I mean, my field's outside there, so that can be my exercise. And then if I happen to fly in the middle of it,
I have seen some people question whether, seeing as people aren't meant to be out and about, doesn't this mean that the number of congested areas is just shrunk? Like, can it really be classed a congested area when no one's allowed outside anyway?
If you look on your Google Maps at London, there's no red on the traffic thing at all.
I mean, this morning, as I was getting ready to go to work, there was someone literally outside my flat whooping around, and I've got some DVR footage from them to try and work out how it was.
You've been sneaking in on their channel.
Yeah, I was just riding along,
hiding inside and being worried. That's my task. Not going out. Send the wife out to walk the dog. I'm hiding. Call me in July. Let's see what's happening then. Meantime, if my box of bits arrived, I will build a thing from the box of bits. Everybody builds something from the box of bits.
Okay. Well, I've been out on my mountain bike, but I think I might take my backpack and go out to the middle of nowhere, and that's my exercise. I can sit there, fly, and then come back.
Wait, so you can't drive, but you can go out. I could go out on my mountain bike to a I think when it's going to come down to these fines and things like that, I think it's more the cities and stuff that is where it's going to be heavily policed.
Well, I've heard of some checkpoints out in like Cornwall and places like that where
those are holiday destinations, though. Is anybody holidaying in? Well, yeah, exactly.
What's up, Menace RC in the chat?
Yeah, Menace RC. He's on lockdown, isn't he? I've been watching his part.
So, is there anything, Frank? You're printing things for people. Is there anything that anyone with a printer can do to help at all?
There is a volunteers group being set up. They're still kind of working out their organization at the moment. But yeah, if you have a home 3D printer, a little filament extrusion one, then you can. There's a group, COVID-19 Volunteers UK, on Facebook and on Slack, but I can't remember the Slack link because no. But yeah, there's some files going around that people can print on their FDM machines at home. I don't know if they're actually going to get used at the moment because various reasons, but there are people on the front line, doctors and nurses and other healthcare workers, social workers, who are struggling to get hold of face shields and other personal protection equipment, and there are some projects going on to try and help them. So there is that.
Right. Hopefully that will get sorted soon. Scary place to be.
Yeah, from what I can tell, there's warehouses of them. They're just struggling to get them from the right place to the right place. So I'm sure lots of people have seen by now there's a volunteers program being set up for people to volunteer to drive around equipment and stuff and supplies.
I was surprised by that because that sounds counterintuitive. Like when they announced, 400,000 people are volunteering to do stuff, which is the population of Coventry, and I'm kind of like, yeah, but aren't we trying to avoid that also? It seemed like a conflict of interest, the volunteer thing.
I think there's
Yeah.
a ready and waiting sort of thing rather than doing something right now.
Yeah,
It's
maybe.
when if something hits the fan, they're ready to go.
It's like they're saying stay at home, but at the same time,
It's
Go
a
for a
cost
jog.
benefit.
thousands of volunteers to.
It's a
help
cost
out.
benefit thing. There's the risk from you going out is small but exists.
Yeah.
And the benefit of you going out to go and fly or go look at the sunset or whatever else to society is negligible. But the benefit of someone going out and moving supplies from a warehouse to a hospital is significant. So that's kind of, don't travel if you don't have to. Don't leave the house if you don't have to help the efforts to deal with this, because it's not worth it.
Well, if Frank says it's not worth it, it's not worth it.
So what are we going to do about the show then?
We just do inside stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's business as usual from the past 6 months of weather. So.
That's true. Yeah.
It's just the fact that the weather's turned absolutely gorgeous at the same time when we're not allowed to really go out,
I know,
which is a bit
like,
pain, but
what we need is a continuation of all those storms we've had for the past few months.
Wait for the
We
for the
need that.
weekend because they're making a return according to the news.
Well, good.
my only problem now is because I've now got my wife and my daughter here all the time, I now can't fly indoors because they'd get annoyed by it. I fly downstairs, I'm interrupting school. I fly upstairs, I'm interrupting important conference calls, if that's what they're called. So
You can go in your garden unless it does rain.
Tribal says, what are you worried about? You never talk about drones anyway.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't think we've talked about them. Did anybody see that story about it was on the news, maybe it was like a regional thing up here about someone was trying to get a grant to get drones to spray whatever it is that Tony's got, to kill our. Yeah, not spray antibacterials. That was the word I was looking for. There was a guy trying to get a grant off the government to get drone pilots to fly these big drones that would spray.
I've seen them advertised. I've seen someone advertising these. Like they can hold 5 gallons and fly for 15 minutes and spray 6,000 square meters or something.
Because that's what they've been doing in other countries manually, haven't they? You see them with them big pressure hoses, like hosing everything down with whatever chemicals and stuff. And this guy, and I was just trying to bring it back onto the drone topic though. I'm just looking forward to everybody's funny haircuts. I'm getting a haircut done tomorrow by a family member. Should be interesting.
Can you live stream
Yeah, that's going to be so much fun.
It was inspired by Richard Hammond, actually. Did anybody see the video? Richard Hammond from Top Gear, him and his wife, he was like, I'm currently getting my hair cut by my wife, who is not a hairdresser.
Well, it'd be like the old days. Do you remember the basin haircuts when everyone had like that?
Yeah. That was how it was.
Like monks and stuff.
Yeah, that was the look, though, wasn't it, back then?
Well, it was the look because that's how everyone had their hair cut by their parents.
Yeah, everyone's mum cut their hair back then, didn't they?
Yeah.
During the chat says, with the pub shut, I think many of the population would welcome being sprayed with 60% alcohol.
I was amazed actually when I went to the shops today. As usual, there's still apparently the invisible crapping virus is still doing its thing because there's no toilet roll.
No fog roll.
There's still no pasta. Apparently, pasta's super, like some kind of superfood that you.
Well,
I ate
it,
some.
it,
And
it
then-
lasts forever, doesn't it? That's what.
Yeah,
it is.
and the other thing was the alcohol. There was very, very little alcohol. So it's obviously this is a new hobby for everyone. Is to just try and drink your way through the next.
It's actually it's actually a concern that they have though, because if there's going to be a lot of people sat inside just getting pissed rather than it could turn a lot of people into alcoholics, and then that could put a strain on the NHS. So it's
And we are in England.
And it's the other thing is like
That's true,
isolation
yeah.
for long periods of time, not generally good for people's mental health. And it's not as
I'm
if,
a good example of that.
and it's not as if there's been a lot of funding for mental health in the UK either. So
That's why I say you should get out and fly when you do your exercise.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to run. I'm afraid. I don't know if are we calling it here at the at 10
I think we
past?
probably should.
And move on. But who'd like to do the honours, or would you like me to do the honours?
Oh, Jack's
back.
Jack reappearing. So
Right,
Jack,
I've booted poor Dave.
Sorry,
Dave,
Dave.
we're gonna have to. I'm gonna
Thanks for coming
switch you
on.
back in and out.
yeah, we'll have to get Dave back on another time.
Yep. So anyway, you've been listening to Let's Drone Out. Thank you very much. I think it's really important that we all meet up, chat, just say what's going on. We can try and do stuff. We'll do a bonus podcast. Might do a couple of streams where we're flying sims together. Let's try and get through this.
Those were fun when we did that, weren't they? When we did did tricks and stuff. See who can do what and that.
Yeah, so I'll have a chat with NJ about trying to arrange that at some point when it's good for him. Going to try and sort out a day where I do some painting with Andy RC on my Twitch channel. Twitch.
Painting Tuesdays now with Jack and Andy.
Yeah, so the joys of painting with Jack and Andy.
Oh, you like Bob Ross?
There are no happy accidents in that stream.
Yeah, and
you could do Bob Ross's hair easy, Jack.
Yeah. So thank you. You've been listening to Let's Drone Out. You've been joined by NJ.
Take care, guys. See you next week.
Magical Pencil or Dave.
Bye.
I just love the controls.
Andrew / Frank.
Bye.
Dave wins
Everyone's-
this week.
Yep. Everyone's favourite curry kitten.
Goodbye.
My Little Tone Star.
Bonjour.
Andy RC.
Ta-ta.
And I've been Bright Till I Fly. And a special thank you for Ed for popping in for unofficial accountant advice. Thank you and good night. Don't forget to hit the bell end icon so you don't miss it because YouTube's fucked.
And wash your hands.
Wash your hands. Wash your dirty dick beaters.